Myself Murali Vardali, lecturer in Botany, Department of Botany, Government Degree College, Autonomous, Siddipet. Today we are going to discuss about stellar evolution in Pteridophytes. In this we are going to discuss about what is the stele, how many types of steles are present in Pteridophytes, and also we are going to discuss the evolution process in stellar in Pteridophytes, right? Actually, what is stele? What is stele? Stele means it is a central cylindrical part of the plant root stem. So this central cylindrical part is called vascular cylinder. This vascular cylinder also called as stele. This stele they have mainly four parts. One is outer layer is pericycle, xylem, phloem, pith or medulla. These are the main parts in vascular cylinder or stele, right? Uh, Actually, this vascular cylinder not found in lower plants like Thallophyta and Bryophyta. In Thallophyta and Bryophyta, total parenchymatous tissue is useful to transfusion of food materials and water. But first time this vascular tissue is present in seen in pteridophytes. So this pteridophytes is called vascular cryptogame. What is cryptogame? These are the lower plants. Cryptogames say they did not have any seeds, only they produces with the help of spores. So in this cryptogame, first time they have conducting tissue, right? That is vascular tissue. So vascular tissue presenting plants are first vascular tissue presenting plants are pteridophytes. So they called vascular cryptogams, right? In pteridophyta, the vascular cylinder is very primitive and simple type of vascular cylinder is present. But in angiosperms, they have complex form of vascular cylinder present. In evolution of vascular cylinder occurs from simple to complex. In simple form of vascular cylinder present in first time in Pteridophyta. After that some complex type of vascular cylinder present in gymnosperms. Very complex type of vascular cylinder present in angiosperms. So in pteridophytes and angiosperms, vascular tissue is very simple, right? Xylem consists of tracheids, xylem parenchyma, but they did not have xylem vessels and fibers. So in pteridophyta and gymnosperms, xylem parenchyma and xylem vessels and fibers are absent. Only they have tracheids and parenchyma. And also in phloem, sieve cells and phloem parenchyma are present, but companion cells are absent. Only companion cells present in angiosperms and also some of the advanced gymnosperms. In pteridophyta and gymnosperms, companion cells absent, but they substituted by the albuminous cells. These albuminous cells are useful to store of food material in protein in the form of protein. Okay. Van Tighem and Dowlett in 1886 proposed the stellar theory, according to which the shoot and stem have the same basic structure of constituting of two fundamental units. One is a cortex, second one is the central cylinder. That central cylindrical part is a stele, right? Central cylindrical part is called stele. Schmidt in 1982 recognized two principal type of steels in pteridophytes, right? Mainly there one is protostele and the second one is saphenostele. Actually in pteridophyta they have mainly five type of steels found, right? There one is protostele, second one is saphenostele, third one is solenostele, fourth one is dictyostele, fifth one is polycyclic steel. So these five type of steels present in pteridophytes, right? Once again, how many types of steels present in pteridophytes? Five types. Which are they? They are one is protostele, second one is saphenostele, third one is solenostele, fourth one is dictyostele, fifth one is polycyclic steel, right? In this, first of all, first type of steel is protostele. What is protostele? Protostele means it is without medulla or without pith. Steel is called protostele. So in this protostele, pith or medulla are absent, right? Medulla are absent. This type of protostele we can see in primitive pteridophyta plants, right? This protostele again divided it into four types. One is haplostele, or it is also called simple steel. Second one is plectostele. Third one is actinostele. Fourth one is mixed steel, right? Protostele, it is very simple and primitive type of steel in pteridophyta. It is again divided into how many types? Four types. One is haplostele, second one is plectostele, third one is actinostele, fourth one is mixed steel, right? In this first one is haplostele or simple steel. What is haplostele or haploprotostele, simple protostele? In this haplostele, medulla or pith is absent. At the center of the vascular cylinder, medulla is absent. Xylem forms a column like at the core and surrounded by the phloem. Okay, what is haplostele? So in this haplostele, actually pith or medulla are absent. Xylem forms a column like at the core, at the center of the vascular cylinder and surrounded by the phloem. So in this type of vascular cylinder we can observe this is the simple type of steel, simple steel, prototype steel. In this first, actually there is absent of medulla or pith. Center core is xylem. This xylem surrounded by the phloem. So this type of protostele is called simple steel or haplostele. Okay. Example: Sillatum, Selaginella, and Lycopodium. Right. Next, second type of protostele is plectostele. Plecto means plates like plect. Right. In this type of protostele, xylem arranged into parallel plates and the phloem is surrounded by this parallel plates. This type of protostele is called plectostele, right? Example: Lycopodium clavatum, Lycopodium clavatum, and Lycopodium volubili. You can observe in this, these plates are xylem plates. These xylem plates surrounded by the phloem. So this type of protostele is called plectostele, right? We can observe this type of plectostele in Lycopodium clavatum species. Next one is actinostele. What is actinostele? In actinostele, xylem is star-shaped with many radiating arms. Phloem is placed between these arms instead, forming a ring-like arrangement around the xylem. So the type of protostele is called actinostele, right? Especially main how we can identify the actinostele, just a star shaped xylem in present in vascular cylinder. So this star type లేదా armed type of xylem surrounded by the phloem. So that type of stele is called actinostele. Example, Lycopodium serratum and Lycopodium phlegmarium. Next, fourth type of protostele, that is mixed stele. This mixed stele is well developed stele in protostele. Four type of protosteles. Simple stele is very primitive type of protostele. Mixed stele is it is advanced type of protostele, right? What is a mixed stele? In this mixed stele, actually in this stele also medulla or pith are absent. Xylem core of the protostele is broken into small grooves. Xylem broken into small grooves and surrounded by the encirculated by the phloem. So that type of protostele is called mixed stele, right? We can observe in this type, two type of steles, actinostele. We can observe this is the this is xylem. This xylem just arms like wings, right? In this radial arms surrounded by the phloem, right? The type of stele is called actinostele, right? What is mixed stele? We can observe in Lycopodium cernivum, xylem is broken into a groove, small grooves. This is the one groove, another groove. So xylem broken into small grooves, each groove surrounded by phloem. So the type of protostele is called mixed stele. We can observe this type of mixed stele in Lycopodium cernivum. Next one is syphnostele. This is the second type of stele in Pteridophyta. Protostele with the center pith or medulla is called as syphnostele, right? Pith, medulla, vascular cylinder with pith or medulla is called syphnostele. So center of the vascular cylinder, pith, surrounded by the xylem and surrounded by the phloem. The type of stele is called syphnostele. This syphnostele term first used by Jeffrey in 1910. So this syphnostele is evolved from protostele. When the protostele is very large, some living parenchymatous cells are present in xylem. In this way, mixed vascular cylinder gradually make parenchymatous medulla at the center. So xylem forms like a ring around the medulla. By the arrangement of xylem and phloem, this syphnostele again divided into three types, right? One is ectoploic syphnostele, second one is amphiploic syphnostele, third one is eustelic syphnostele. So this is the three type of syphnosteles are present in this stele, right? Who used first term syphnostele? Jeffrey in 1910. How it is formed? When the parenchymatous tissue migrated into xylem parenchymatous tissue is migrated center core of the vascular cylinder, they converted into medulla or pith. The type of stele is converted into as a syphnostele, right? This syphnostele again divided into three types. One is ectoploic syphnostele, second one is amphiploic syphnostele, third one is eustelic syphnostele, right? In this first stele is ectoploic syphnostele. What is ectoploic syphnostele? Center of the vascular cylinder with medulla enclosed by xylem and phloem successively is called ectoploic syphnostele, right? We can observe in this is the middle part is called, that is pith. This pith surrounded by xylem, and xylem surrounded by phloem, right? Successively arranged by phloem. This type of saphenostele is called ectoploic saphenostele. In this ectoploic saphenostele, middle core is pith surrounded by xylem, xylem outer side surrounded by phloem, right? Example, osmunda are in equisetum. Next, another one is, next one is amphiploic saphenostele. We can observe amphiploic saphenostele in what is amphiploic saphenostele? Amphi means both side of the xylem, phloem is present. So middle of the vascular cylinder, pith is present or medulla is present, and surrounded by xylem, xylem surrounded both side by phloem. So the type of saphenostele is called amphiploic saphenostele. Amphi means both sides of both sides. So in this both sides, xylem both sides, outer side, outer phloem, and surrounded by the outer pericycle and outer endodermis. In xylem inner side, inner phloem, and surrounded by the inner pericycle and surrounded by the inner endodermis, and middle of the vascular cylinder is pith or medulla present. This type of saphenostele is called amphiploic saphenostele. Example, in Marsilia stem or rhizome, right? In Marsilia stem or rhizome we can observe this type of amphiploic saphenostele, right? You see in this, first this one is the pith one, pith. In this pith surrounded, first of all, this is pith. This pith is surrounded by, this is the one is xylem. This xylem surrounded by both sides. So this one is outer phloem. This is inner phloem. So outer phloem and inner phloem. Again surrounded by, outer phloem surrounded by outer pericycle, and inner phloem surrounded by inner pericycle, right? Again next, again this outer pericycle surrounded by outer endodermis, inner pericycle surrounded by inner endodermis. So this type of saphenostele is called amphiploic saphenostele. We can observe this middle part is called pith or medulla. This is the first, you can observe inner side to outer side. This is the inner endodermis. This blue is inner pericycle. This one is inner phloem. This one is xylem, and again this one is this one is outer phloem, and this one is outer pericycle. This one is outer endodermis. So this type of arrangement of stele is called amphiploic saphenostele. We can observe this type of amphiploic saphenostele in Marsilia stem and Marsilia rhizome. Okay. Next, third one in saphenostele, that is eustelic saphenostele. What is eustelic saphenostele? In eustelic, center of the vascular cylinder is medulla is present. So in this medulla, around the medulla, surrounded by collateral vascular bundles are arranged in whorl. The type of saphenostele is called eustelic saphenostele. So eustelic saphenostele, middle of the vascular cylinder, medulla. This medulla surrounded by collateral vascular bundles are arranged in whorl, right? These are the vascular bundles. These vascular bundles are arranged in whorl. So the type of stele is called eustelic siphnostele. Example, this type of eustelic siphnostele we can observe in equisetum stem, right? This is eustelic siphnostele. Okay, next. So this siphnostele is actually evolved from the protostele. To explain the origin of medulla at the center of vascular cylinder, mainly two theories were proposed, right? One is invention theory, second one is transformation theory, right? One is invention theory, second one is transformation theory. This invention theory also called extrastellar origin of pith, extrastellar theory. Next, and transformation theory also called intrastellar theory, intrastellar theory, right? In this first one is invention theory. What is invention theory? So this theory was first proposed by Jeffrey, right? According to Jeffrey, 1 minute. So according to this theory, cortical parenchyma cells migrate through the passage such as leaf gaps and branch gaps. So this view derives support from the amphiploic siphnostele that has two endodermal layers. Example, in Selaginella vecinata, Selaginella evigata, medulla and vascular cylinder are demarcated by inner endodermis. Generally, endodermis is cortical in origin. So, in Selaginella, endodermis is invented into inside of the xylem. So, this xylem in this pith parenchymatous tissue migrated from the cortex. So this theory is called invention theory. This invention theory is first proposed by Jeffrey. This theory also called as extrastellar origin of pith. So this pith is origin from the extrastellar, other than the stele. What is other than the stele means? It is not from xylem or from phloem or pericycle. So other than the pericycle, xylem or phloem, what is the other than tissue? This tissue is from the cortex. So from the cortex, parenchymatous tissue is migrated to, from the leaf gaps or branch gaps migrated to middle of the vascular cylinder and form pith or medulla. So this in protosteles. So it is converted into siphnostele. This is the invention theory. So second one is transformation theory. This transformation theory was proposed by Boudil and Ginvagini and Bauer. According to this theory, modification or transformation of xylem elements at the core into parenchymatous form. So xylem parenchymatous tissue form in center of the vascular cylinder and form pith or medulla. So this theory is called transformation theory. So actually what was doing here is here in xylem parenchymatous tissue is form like pith like structure in the middle of the vascular cylinder. So they form pith. So pith type of vascular cylinder is called siphnostele. So it is the transformation theory, right? This also called intrastellar. Intrastellar means this pith is origin from stellar cells, right? Whether it is xylem or phloem or pericycle. Mainly it is derived from the xylem parenchymatous tissue. So called it is intrastellar theory and transformation theory, right? Example, lunularia, right? This is the theories explained by Zeffrey and Budil, Ginwani, and Bauer. One is invention theory, second one is transformation theory. Next one is third type of steel in Pteridophyta, that is solenosteel. What is solenosteel? Depending on the presence of non-overlapping or overlapping leaves and traces, solenosteel are classified. For when the only one leaf trace is opposite to one leaf gap, such a vascular cylinder is called saphenosteel, with the one with non-overlapping leaf gap is called solenosteel, right? You can observe only one leaf gap is present in saphenosteel. The type of saphenosteel is called solenosteel. In this solenosteel only we have only one leaf gap, and also middle of the vascular cylinder in pith surrounded by xylem and surrounded by phloem. The type of saphenosteel is called ectoploic saphenosteel, and whether it is both side of the xylem phloem is present, the type of solenosteel is called amphiploic solenosteel. So solenosteel again divided into two types. One is ectoploic solenosteel, second one is amphiploic solenosteel, right? Whether the saphenosteel present only one leaf gap, the type of steel is called solenosteel. This solenosteel again divided into two types, ectoploic solenosteel and amphiploic solenosteel. In ectoploic solenosteel, middle of the vascular cylinder they have pith, only one leaf traces, leaf gaps are present. Pith is surrounded by xylem and xylem surrounded by phloem, right? Next, in amphiploic, middle of the vascular cylinder is pith surrounded by xylem and surrounded by both sides of the phloem. The type of solenosteel is called amphiploic solenosteel. Next one is dictyosteel. Only one leaf gap is present in saphenosteel, that is solenosteel. Whether the many leaf gaps are oppositely placed to the leaf traces. Oppositely placed to the leaf traces, the leaf gaps overlap each other. This type of saphenosteel is called dictyosteel. We can observe in this dictyosteel, many of leaf gaps are present in solenosteel. So many leaf gaps present solenosteel is called dictyosteel. In this dictyosteel, how many scattered vascular strands are present? These are the vascular strands. These vascular strands, middle is xylem and surrounded by the phloem. This type of steels are called meristeels. So meristeels are present in which type of steel? In dictyosteel type of steel they have meristeels, right? Meristeels, right? Example, terrace. Example, terrace. Next one is polycyclic steel. What is polycyclic steel? In polycyclic steel, two or more rings of vascular strands. So two or more rings of vascular strands means is vascular bundles are arranged in rounds, circular manner. The type of steel is called polycyclic steel. Example, in some species, for example, pteridium, they have two rings of vascular tissues. In Montania, they have three rings of vascular tissues. In terrace and in some species, they have four rings, right? Four rings. If the polycyclic steel, the outer cylinder is solenosteel, it is called polycyclic solenosteel. And if the outer cylinder as dictyostele, it is known as polycyclic dictyostele, right? This polycyclic stele is again two types. One is polycyclic solenostele, polycyclic dictyostele. Polycyclic solenostele means whether the solenostele is outer side, that is polycyclic solenostele. Whether it is dictyostele, it is polycyclic dictyostele. These are the main type of steles present in pteridophytes, right? What are they? One is protostele, syphnostele, protostele, syphnostele, solenostele, solenostele, dictyostele, polycyclic stele, right? In first one, protostele, primitive type, very advanced type of stele is polycyclic stele. Protostele again divided into how many types? Four types. One is simple protostele, actinostele, plectostele, mixed stele. In this protostele, very primitive type of protostele is simple stele or aplostele. Advanced type of protostele is mixed stele, right? Next, second one is syphnostele. Without medulla stele is called protostele. With medulla stele is called syphnostele. Whether the syphnostele they have present leaf gaps or leaf traces, the type of stele is called solenostele. This solenostele again divided into syphnostele again divided into three types. One is ectofloic solenostele, amphifloic solenostele, eustelic solenostele, right? In this ectofloic, only uh, middle of the vascular cylinder is pith surrounded by xylem and surrounded by phloem. Amphifloic, if it is amphifloic, in middle of the vascular cylinder, they have middle of the vascular cylinder pith or medulla surrounded by xylem. Xylem both sides phloem is present. Outer phloem and inner phloem. Outer phloem surrounded
మళ్ళా
by
తీసినవా ఇక
outer pericycle, outer endodermis. Inner phloem surrounded by inner pericycle and inner endodermis. Example, marsilia, right? Next, solenostele. Again, it is solenostele. Only one leaf gap is present in syphnostele. The type of stele is called solenostele. This solenostele
అవి
again
తీయకు పడబెట్టు
ectofloic
లేదంటే
solenostele
పడతాయి.
or amphifloic solenostele. Next, dictyosteles, whether the leaf gaps are more than one, the xylem and phloem is divided into many groups. The type of stele is dictyostele. In dictyosteles, each stele is called meristele, right? Polycyclic stele, many rings of vascular bundles are arranged in circular manner to the pith or medulla is called polycyclic stele. Example, teres, right? This is the stellar evolution in pteridophytes. Okay, thank you.